Hello, my name is T. Davis, and I am working with Carson Lang to tackle the problem of abandoned buildings in Baltimore City. As of 2023, Baltimore is the home to a population of 565,239 people. With this large population, you would think there would be enough housing for everyone. However, there isn't. A lot of the buildings in Baltimore are actually abandoned and have been like this for years. According to the quote, Baltimore's abandoned housing problem is the result of over 50 years of population decline, aging homes, and deferred maintenance. A diverse approach will be needed to address this problem. The article includes the quote, solutions to address abandoned properties include rehabilitating, rebuilding, and raising the structures. Restoring the buildings in order to use them for housing or for other purposes is what this quote emphasizes. In order to do this, we would have to raise money or get it from the government and have people in the community donate their time and opinions. What we need is a social movement. An urban renewal movement is recycling buildings, enhancing infrastructure, and promoting economic growth. Participating in community development projects to improve infrastructure and create jobs is a great way to promote economic growth. Collective action brings people together to achieve bigger goals, pool resources, influence decisions, foster community, and tackle large-scale issues effectively. The subject of the city's rights and who has them emerges, with it being the ability for people who live in the city to have a say in what goes on there. The quote from the article written by Marquise says, a conceptual note, the right to the city appears initially as a right of consumption, a right to consume what the city, in city life, has to offer. Participation in city planning ensures that diverse community needs are considered, encourages residents to shape their neighborhoods, and foster transparency and accountability in decision-making processes. Building affordable housing helps to ensure equitable urban development. I will now be passing the slide presentation over to my partner, Carlson Lang.
Thank you, T, for providing that great insight into this very serious problem in Baltimore that has been going on for years. Now that you are familiar with the epidemic, I would like to introduce our social movement project that we believe will be the change that is necessary to solve this problem. We have decided to call it the Rebuild Our Roots Project. We plan to start by raising awareness to residents in and around Baltimore to make sure they are aware of the abandoned house problem and why it is such a big deal. We will then search all around Baltimore, locating as many abandoned properties as we can. From there, we will narrow down which are realistic to revitalize and which are not. Next, we plan on reaching out to local government officials to spread our message and in hopes of receiving additional funding and resources to help boost our social movement. Following this, we will gather groups of community members and activists to go around and make the abandoned properties presentable and ready to be revitalized or rebuilt. We'll also take the creative route by bringing around community artists to turn abandoned structures into murals, sculptures, and so on. These will draw positive light to the community and deter vandalism. In order to inform the youth about the advantages of our movement, we also intend to involve them in our revitalization activities. We will push for legislative changes that government representatives hold in order to address the root causes of urban property abandonment. And finally, we will create a long-term sustainability strategy to ensure that the results of our social movement continue for many years to come. The Rebuild Our Roots project closely adheres to the World Charter for the Right to the City, specifically the right of social function of the city and of urban property. Here's how. Repurposing and reconstructing underutilized or abandoned urban homes and properties is the project's main objective. It upholds the idea that public areas should cater to everyone's needs rather than being monopolized and controlled by a few. This idea is connected to the belief that equal access to land and property is necessary for the good of the entire community in urban areas. Our concept supports neighborhood reclaiming and social inclusion, which in turn empowers residents to participate in the process of reshaping their areas. One of the primary objectives of the initiative is to solve Baltimore's shortage of affordable housing by repurposing abandoned houses for community use. Through support of community ownership models such as cooperatives and community land trusts, the project aims to ensure that urban property achieves the social goal of providing shelter for the impoverished instead of being solely as a commodity for profit.